Workers' comp settlements. Who has the power to decide whether or not to accept a settlement offer made by your employer? You, the injured worker, have the sole power as to whether accept or reject a settlement offer by your employer. Your attorney cannot force you into settlement. They may very well recommend that you accept settlement, and they may give you, if they're a reasonable, good attorney, what they're going to do is they're going to explain the positives and negatives of both accepting settlement and rejecting settlement. But the sole and ultimate authority to accept or reject settlement lies entirely in your hands. So if somebody says otherwise, run away from that person. It's your sole power. And the reality is, there's instances where I, even as an attorney, I'll recently had probably the greatest settlement offer in light of what this individual's claim was allowed for. But frankly, it was great. And I explained, hey, client, this is the offer. You can accept this money in lieu of, for example, in this case, going to trial on these conditions. I explained why I thought it was a good idea to settle. I explained that there was a major risk that he might lose, and then he might not get this money. And ultimately, he rejected the offer. And that was his decision. So what ended up happening is we ended up going to trial. Fortunately for this individual, he won. He could have lost, and he would have been with nothing to show for it. But and I've had run into other situations where maybe it's not in the best interest of the client to settle. And again, I will explain. Like I had a client who would rather treat for his significant low back issues, and that makes sense to me anyways. So would I like, as an attorney, to settle the claim? Yeah, because I don't have to work on it anymore, and then I get a percentage of the settlement. But that's not what I want or like or want to happen. Isn't necessarily always in the best interest of the client. And as the representative of the client, I must always do what's in the best interest of the client, not what's in the best interest of myself or the business. And in this instance, the person didn't want to settle because they want to treat for their low back injury. Likewise, I've run into situations where there's really reasonable settlement offers, but people don't want to settle because a lot of times when you settle, you have to resign as part of settlement. And the person has a great job and they don't want to resign because they've had the job forever and it would be hard to find another job. That's reasonable. But again, it doesn't matter what I want, even if it's a great offer. It's you have the sole power whether to reject or accept settlement of your claim. So just keep that in mind always when you're dealing with your attorney, okay?